What is gravitation? Gravitation, the force with which any two objects attracts each other is called gravitation. State Newton's universal law of gravitation. Newton's universal law of gravitation states that the force of attraction between two bodies is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their center. What is Newton gravitational constant? Newton gravitational constant is the gravitation existing between two bodies of unit mass placed at a unit distance from their center. Newton's gravitational constant is the gravitation existing between two bodies of unit mass placed at a unit distance from the center. Its value is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. Newton SI units is Newton meter square per kg square. Yes, and under which condition the value of gravitational force and gravitational constant become equal? When two bodies of unit mass are kept 1 meter apart from the center, the value of gravitational force and gravitational constant become equal. And tides occurs on the sea. Why? Tides occurs on the sea due to the gravitational force of the sun and the moon on the sea of the earth. The effect of gravitation in liquid is more than in solid. Why? In liquid, the intermolecular force is less than in solid. Therefore, the effect of gravitation in liquid is more than in solid. Next one. Write down the one effect due to gravitation. It causes formation of tides in the ocean. Find out the changes in gravitational force between two objects when the distance between them is double. According to Newton's law of gravitation, force is equal to G m1 m2 by d square. Yes, when the distance between two objects is double, then we will write here 4d square 1 by 4d square, like that. What changes occurs to the gravitational force when the distance between the centers of two constant mass is half? This is also same. Next question. What is gravity? The force which pulls an object toward the center of the earth is called gravity. Yes, and in which direction does the force of gravity act? The force of gravity acts toward the center of the earth or the planet. What is the effect of gravity on falling object? Gravity produces an acceleration on the falling object. What is acceleration due to gravity? The acceleration produced in a freely falling body due to the influence of gravity is called acceleration due to gravity. The symbol of acceleration due to gravity is g. SI unit is meter per second square. Yes, and what is mean by statement acceleration due to gravity of an object is 9.8 meter per second square? The acceleration due to gravity of an object is 9.8 meter per second square, means that an object falls towards the ground under the action of gravity. The velocity of falling object increases at the constant rate of 9.8 meter per second for every second of time it is falling. The acceleration due to gravity on the surface of Jupiter is 25 meter per second square. What does it mean? The acceleration due to gravity on the surface of Jupiter is 25 meter per second square. Means that when object falls toward the surface of Jupiter under the action of gravity, the velocity of falling body increases at the rate of 25 meter per second in every second time it is falling. And next is, what is the value of acceleration due to gravity at the equatorial region of the earth? The value of acceleration due to gravity at the equatorial region of the earth is 9.78 meter per second square. And right, the region behind atmosphere does not escape away from the earth. The atmosphere does not escape away from the earth due to presence of gravity of the earth. Yes, and difference between gravity small g and gravitation capital G. Gravity, the force which pulls an object toward the center of the earth or a planet, is called gravity. Gravitation is the force with which two objects attract each other. Yes, the force with which two objects attract each other. And gravity depends upon the mass and radius of a planet. Gravitation depends on the masses of two objects and distance between their center. And which are the gravitational figure one, that is which have more mass, that have more what call force, yes, that have more gravitational force. And similarly, what happens to the gravitational force if the distance of increase, gravitation also increases, then prove that g is equals to 1 by r square. Let us consider an object of mass m. Yes, mass be m, radius be, distance be r, yes, and exerted force be f. Then force is equals to mass into gravity. Yes, and force is equals to g, according to the Newton's law of gravitation, force is equals to g m1 m2 by d r square. Yes, from equation 1 and 2, mg equals to g m1 m2 by r square, and g is equals to g m1 m2 by r square m. Now that mg m come downside, yes, and g is equals to 1 by r square when g and m1 are constant. Yes. Now similarly, next question: what effect will be on acceleration due to gravity if radius of earth is decreased? The magnitude of acceleration due to gravity increases if the radius of the earth is increased, keeping its mass constant. Mass constant is gravity is equals to 1 by r square. Why does the value of gravity vary from place to place on the surface of the earth? The value of g is inversely proportional to the square of the radius of the earth. The earth is not perfectly spherical. It's flat at poles and blocked at equator. Similarly, there are plains, hills, valleys, and mountains of various height on the surface of the earth. Due to this, the distance between the earth center and various places of the earth is variable. Therefore, the value of g varies from place to place. The value of g is more at pole than an equator. Why? The radius of earth is less at pole than at equator. So the value of g is more at pole than at the equator. Yes, the radius of the earth is less at the pole than at the equator. So the value of g is more at the pole than at the equator. The weight of an object is more at polar region than at equatorial region. Why? The value of g is more at polar regions due to less radius, and less at equator due to more radius. The value of g at polar region is 9.83 and value of g at equatorial region is 9.73. Acceleration due to gravity, small g, universal gravitational force g. Acceleration due to gravity is acceleration produced in a freely falling body due to the effect of gravity, and universal constant g is the force of attraction between two bodies of 1 kg mass kept at 1 meter apart from their centers. G is variable quantity. Universal constant is constant quantity. Constant meter per second square, Newton meter square per kg square. And acceleration due to gravity, is the acceleration produced on freely falling body due to influence of gravity. Yes, it is the effect of gravity. It's measured in meter per second square. Gravitational field. The gravitational field of the earth or a planet is defined as the area around the earth up to where the gravity of earth has influence to an object. And why do the satellites not fall while revolving around the earth? Satellites do not fall while revolving around the earth due to the presence of balanced centripetal and centrifugal force. Yes, and where does the weight of a body become maximum in Nepal? The weight of a body become maximum in Tarai region of Nepal because the value of G is more in the Tarai region than in hilly region or Himalayan region. What does the weight of a body become maximum on the surface of the earth? The weight of at polar region of the earth. Where does the weight of a body become minimum on the surface of the earth? The weight of a body becomes minimum on the top of Mount Everest because the value of G is minimum on the top of Mount Everest. What is the value of acceleration due to gravity at the polar region? The acceleration due to gravity at the polar region is 9.83 meter per second square. What happens to the object of weight of an object when it is taken from the earth to the moon. The weight of an object becomes 1/6 to that 1/6 to that on the earth, because the value of g in mode is 6 times less than on the earth. Yes, mass means the amount of matter contained in a body. The weight of an object is the force with which the object is attracted to towards the center of the earth. Yes, and mass is a scalar quantity, weight is a vector quantity. Mass cannot be zero, weight can be zero. Mass SI unit kg, weight Newton. Write down the conclusion of Galileo feathers and coin experiment. The acceleration produced in freely falling body is same for all bodies, and it does not depend on the mass of falling bodies in absence of air resistance. Yes. In which condition the feather and a coin drop from the same height fall at the same speed? Why? A feather and a coin drop from the same height fall at the same speed during free fall, since there is no external your resistance due to free fall. As a result of feather and a coin fall at the same speed. What is free fall? When object is falling toward the surface of the earth under the influence of gravity. Yes, without influence of external resistance, the fall of object is free fall. Yes, and there should be influence of gravity without external resistance. And why does the sheet of a paper fall later on the surface of the earth than the roll paper ball? Yes, a sheet of a paper experiences more air resistance than the paper ball, as the surface of the sheet paper is more than the paper ball. Yes, as a result, the sheet paper falls later on the earth's surface than paper ball of equal weight. And similarly, next question: what is the difference between fall of parachute on the earth and fall on that moon? Yes, there is atmosphere around the surface of the earth which creates an external resistance on the bodies falling towards the earth's surface. So parachute does not fall freely on the earth's surface, but there is no atmosphere around the surface of the moon, so parachute falls freely towards the surface of the moon. Why can't we feel safety with the help of parachute towards the moon? Yes. A parachute falls freely towards the surface of the moon due to the absence of atmosphere, and we get hot. Therefore, we cannot feel safety with the parachute towards around the moon. When a feather and coin is dropped toward the surface of earth, do they reach the ground together? If this experiment is done in the moon, what difference can we occur? When feathers and coin are dropped towards the center of the earth, yes, they do not reach together at the ground because of due to effect of external resistance or air resistance, because the external resistance is more in the feather than in the coin. Yes, but if they are dropped together on the surface of the moon, then they will reach at the ground simultaneously. And what is weightlessness? Weightlessness is a condition at which the weight of a body of a mass becomes zero. Yes, and when an object is falling freely becomes weightlessness. Yes, and absence of acceleration due to gravity. Free fall: when a body falls under the influence of gravity, it is called free fall. Weightlessness is a condition at which the apparent weight of a body becomes zero. Free fall is not possible in absence of gravity. Weightlessness is possible, but differences. An astronaut feels weightlessness in his spacecraft. Why? An astronaut does not exert any pressure force in the spacecraft. Due to this reaction, force is zero. Yes, as a result, astronaut feels weightlessness in a spacecraft. Weight of body is found less on the top of mountain than at the bottom of it. Why? The value of g is more at the bottom of mountain due to the less radius, and less at the value of g is less at the top of mountain due to more radius. Yes, therefore the weight of a body is less at the top of mountain than at the bottom of mountain. You need to know where weight will be more or less. Yes, you need to know gravity is equals to 1 by r square. It means inversely proportional. Yes, if gravity more, weight will what called radius more, gravity less. If radius less, gravity more, and weight is equals to mass into gravity. If it means when gravity more, weight more, gravity less, weight less. Just simple. Now it is difficult to lift a large stone on the it is difficult to lift large stone on the surface of the earth, but easy to lift small stone. Why? The force of gravity is more in the large stone as it has more mass than in small stone. Due to the large stone has more load than the due to this large stone has more load than the small load. As a result, it is difficult to lift large stone than a small stone. We do not get hurt when we jump with the parachute. Why? Parachute opens and expand when parachutist jumps out of plane. Yes, and larger the area of parachute, more will be the resistance of air, so the acceleration of parachute decreases. Due to decreased acceleration due to gravity, parachutist falls down slowly. As a result, parachutists can balance their bodies and are not hurt when they jump out of plane. At what condition the acceleration of falling parachute approximately zero while getting down from the parachute? When parachute falls down, it is pulled towards the center it is pulls downward by a certain force of gravity. Yes, air provides resistance and opposes the downward movement of parachute. When air resistance is equal to the pulling force of the earth, the acceleration of falling body is approximately zero while getting down from the parachute. Yes, and a feather and coin fall simultaneously on the surface of the moon. Why? Because there is absence of air resistance, so there is possible of free fall. And what will be the weight of an object of mass 50 kg at the center of earth? The weight of object of mass 50 kg will be zero at the center of the earth, because the value of g at the center of earth is zero. Yes, and a piece of stone and a feather are dropped from the height at a lunar spaces which will reach on the face. It means a feather and a paper piece of stone simultaneously on the surface of moon. Due to the free fall, yes, there is no air resistance, and the probability of getting hot is more when a man jump from the greatest height. Why? Acceleration is produced in falling body towards the earth's surface due to influence of gravity. The velocity of falling body also increases in every second of time at the rate of 9.8 meter per second square. The force of body increases at the increase in velocity. Therefore, the probability of getting hot is more as men jump from the more height. A satellite does not need any energy to revolve around the earth. Why? A satellite does not need any energy to revolve around the earth, because the balance centripetal and centrifugal force provided by the gravitational force. An important formula to remember from this lesson is force is equals to G, means universal constant gravitation, and G m1 m2 by d square r square anything. Yes, and next formula we need to remember is gravity is equals to g m1 divided by r plus h whole square. Yes, and or g m by r square. Now other important question from this chapter are now repeated question. Yes, state Newton's universal law of gravitation, already read, and mass of heavenly bodies and distance between their center are factors affecting gravitational force. Yes, and next question is what is the value of G on equatorial region? This also read 9.78 in equatorial region and 83 in polar region. And G is equals to 1 by r square. Weight is equals to mass into gravity. The gravity value in moon is 1.67. Yes, and free fall means when object is falling toward the surface center of the earth under the influence of gravity without external resistance. And how much weight of a body less on the moon? Yes, 1 by 6. Yes, the acceleration due to gravity of earth is inversely proportional to the radius of the earth. Yes, the radius of the earth is slightly more in the mountain regions than in the torrid region. Therefore, the G is more in torrid region than in the mountain region. Kathmandu lies at higher altitude than the Biratnagar from the sea level. Yes, the value of acceleration due to gravity is slightly more in Biratnagar than in Kathmandu. Therefore, an object has slightly more height in Biratnagar than in Kathmandu. And illustrate G is equals to 1 by R square. This is done. Force is equals to G M1 by M2 M1 M2 by D square. Yes, and next question is formula, important formula. Yes, this is the mass is equals to weight by gravity, or weight is equals to mass into gravity. T H is equals to 1 by 2 gt square. H is equals to 1 by 2 gt square. Yes, H is equals to ut plus 1 by 2 gt square. Also, u means initial distance. U initial distance. Now I'm going through the lesson pressure. Yes, pressure. Define pressure. A pressure is defined as the thrust on the unit area of a surface. Pressure is equals to thrust by area. Thrust means force. Force. Yes. It's SI unit is Pascal, PASCAL, Pascal. And what do you mean by 1 Pascal pressure? 1 Pascal pressure is the pressure exerted on a surface area of 1 meter square by the 1 Newton thrust. Yes, and similarly, next question, pressure depends upon two factors, that is thrust and area. Prove that pressure is equals to force by area. As we all know that pressure is directly proportional to the force acting perpendicularly. Yes, and pressure is equals to directly proportional to force. Pressure is equals to inversely proportional to the area. Yes, and when these two equations combine, and k is the constant here. Yes, and pressure is equals to k f by a, and k constant 1, then k is equals to force by area. Now similarly, next question, definite between force and pressure. Force is an external agent that changes or tends to change the state of a body. Pressure is the thrust on unit area of surface. Yes, perpendicular force acting on unit area of a surface. Yes, and force SI unit is Newton, dyn, dyne, and pressure SI unit is Newton meter square, dyne centimeter square. Yes, and next question, studs are made on the sole of football players' boot. Why? Studs are made on the sole of football players' boot to increase the pressure on the ground, which prevents the player from falling or sliding. Yes, and next question, prove that pressure is equals to SdG. Here first we need to know that pressure is equals to force by area. Yes, and force is equals to mass into gravity. Now pressure is equals to force by gravity. Force by gravity. Now pressure is equals to m into g by a, and as we all know that density is equals to mass by volume. Therefore mass is equals to density into volume. Yes, now pressure is equals to B into D into G by A. Again, now pressure, as we all know that volume is equals to area of base into height. So pressure is equals to A into H into D into G by A. Now A got, then P is equals to SdG. Proved. Yes, now what are the factors affecting pressure? Liquid pressure. Yes, height means depth, density, value of acceleration due to gravity. Yes, and next question is, when both tanks are filled completely, the bottom of the tanks will experience more pressures which have more height. Yes, and if the bottom filled with 100 liter water, because the height of column will be more in B tank due to less cross sectional area. Now the bottom of vessel water is made thicker. Why? The water exerts more pressure at the bottom of vessel as liquid pressure increases, which increase in depth. So the bottom of water vessel is made thicker to bear the great pressure. Yes, and similarly, next question is, a drum completely filled with water is taken from the earth to lunar space. Yes, what a experience you will get. The value of acceleration due to gravity is less on the lunar space, yes, than on the surface of the earth. Therefore, the pressure exerted by drum decreases. The pressure decreases on the lunar space. And similarly, same pressure tank will experience same pressure if they have equal height. Yes, equal height. Now, uh, walls of dam are made thicker at bottom. Walls extra water extract of white high pressure near are at the bottom of the wall or a dam. Yes, as the liquid pressure is directly proportional to the depth, therefore the walls are made thicker at the bottom so that they can withstand the pressure extracted by the water. Yes, we know that liquid pressure is directly proportional to the height of liquid. Yes, therefore the height of liquid column on the down floor is more than at the top floor, so the speed of flow of water out of tap of upper floor is less due to less pressure, and that in the lower floor is more due to more pressure of water, which pressure is increases due to the height of liquid. Yes, the bucket is filled slower in tap of top tray than at the downstream region, since the height of water column in tap of top tray is less than that of downstream. Yes, the speed of flow of water is less in the tap of top tray. As the result, the bucket is filled slower in the top tray and faster in the down tray. The water tank is kept at some height to increase the water pressure to supply water to all buildings. Yes, and the size of air bubble becomes larger or bigger as it rises in the water. The pressure exerted by liquid to the air bubble decreases when air pressure rises up in water. As a result, the size of air bubble becomes bigger as it rises in the water. Get it? The pressure exerted by liquid or water to the air bubbles decreases when the air bubble rises up in water. As a result, the size of air bubbles becomes bigger as it rises up in the air. As pressure is equals to inversely proportional to the area. Yes, and state Pascal law of liquid pressure. Pascal law of liquid pressure state that the pressure is equally transmitted perpendicular on all sides if it is applied to the closed container. Yes, if pressure is applied on the closed liquid, then it will be transmitted equally in the all direction. Yes, and formula based on Pascal law is F1 by A1 equals to F2 by A2. Yes, and what the role of water in hydraulic press to multiply small force into large one? Water plays a great role to transmit the pressure equally exerted by the small piston perpendicularly to all sides of the closed container. As a result, force is multiplied in the larger piston. And the equipment based on Pascal law are hydraulic brakes, hydraulic jack, hydraulic press. Yes, and what is the principle of hydraulic machine? The principle of hydraulic machine states that a large force is developed on the bigger piston when small force is applied on smaller piston. Yes, and prove that hydraulic press is force multiply. If question came, then let us consider hydraulic press have two piston of the cross section area A1 and A2. When a force F1 is applied to the smaller force, and F2 develops the larger portion. Yes, and according to Pascal law, pressure 1 equals to pressure 2. Now F1 by A2 equals to F2 by A2. Yes, and here A2 is greater than A1 and F2 is greater than F1. Hence, hydraulic pressure is the force multiplier proved. Now, by the two properties, liquid cannot be compressed. Liquid transmit pressure perpendicularly to the all direction. Hydraulic press. Hydraulic press is an equipment based on Pascal law, which is used to press things like cotton, paper, etc. And what is of thrust is a resultant thrust that a liquid uses to push up a body immersed in liquid. Resultant thrust that a liquid uses to push a body immersed in the liquid. Yes, its SI unit is Newton. And state the factor affecting up thrust: volume, density, acceleration due to gravity, temperature of fluid. Yes, it's all directly proportional. Yes, and another question might come that prove states Archimedes principle. Archimedes principle states that when a body is partially or wholly immersed in a fluid, yes, liquid, it experiences an upthrust, yes, which is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. Yes, get it? When a body is partially or wholly immersed in a fluid or liquid, yes, it experiences an upthrust, yes, which is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by it. Upthrust means the weight loss by that object, yes. And next question might come that weight of object is decreased when immersed in water. Which law? This is stated by Archimedes principle. Yes, and when a bucket remains inside water, it experience of and density means density of substances is defined as the mass per unit volume of a substances. Yes, and another question is relative density. The relative density of a substance is the ratio of density of substances to the density of water at 4 degrees Celsius. Relative density is equals to density of substances by density of water. Density of a substance is defined as the mass per unit volume of substances. The relative density, it is the density of substances. Uh, the ratio of density of substances to the density of water at 4 degrees Celsius. There is no unit density of density SI unit is kg per cube. Yes, the density of hydrogen is less than that of oxygen. So the balloon filled with the hydrogen rises up, but balloon filled with the air falls down. Yes, and one can feel difficult to breathe in deep while going it. Yes, carbon dioxide gas is heavier than oxygen, so carbon dioxide is present at the deep of what well. Yes, so it is feel difficult to breathe while cleaning the well. Now, why does a stone sink in water? The stone density of stone is more than of water, so stone cannot displace the equal equal displaced water equals to its weight, so it sink on water. Law of flotation state that an object that floats on water or liquid medium displaces the liquid equal to its own weight. Yes, hydrometer is constructed on it. And at what condition does a body float on water? When it's a body floats on liquid when the weight of a liquid displaced by body is equal to its own weight. Yes, and uh, when a substance is displaced the liquid equal to one weight when the upthrust given by water is more than the weight of a substances. And on only the object having density less than water floats. Yes, this is not 100% true because the density of iron is more than that of water, but also ship made of iron floats. Now, difference between Archimedes principle and law of flotation. Archimedes principle states that when a body is partially or wholly immersed in a liquid, it experiences upthrust equal to its weight of liquid displaced by it. Law of flotation states that when a body floats in a liquid, with that weight of a floating body is equal to the weight of liquid displaced by it. Yes, Archimedes principle calculate the upthrust, or that is weight loss of an object. Law of flotation is based on used to construct hydrometer submarine ships. Yes, hydrometer is a device which is used for measuring the relative density of liquid directly, and the hydrometer immerses more in pure water than in sugar solution because the upthrust given by pure water is less than the sugar solution. A small portion of hydrogen is in pure water whereas less portion of hydrometer immerses in salty water. And if an egg is immersed in pure water, it sinks because the upthrust due to pure water is less than the weight of egg. Yes, similarly, egg floats on concentrate salt solution because the upthrust due to concentrate salt solution is either equal or more than the weight of egg. Yes, and similarly, a ship coming from a sea into a river will sink more or less in river water. The wool of a sheep sink more in river water because the upthrust given by water is less than the yes. What's lactometer is a designed hydrometer which is used for testing the purity of milk. If that is density is more than 1.045, that is mixed milk. Yes, and next is, yes, diagrammatic question may come from here, and you might read that. And fresh water has less density than that of egg, so the egg cannot displace equal water to its weight due to less of thrust and its shrink. Yes, but salt water mixing with water increases the density of water, hence the of thrust. Yes, as a result, the egg can displace water equal to its weight and floats. Iceberg made of ice floats in water. The density of ice is 0.91 gram per centimeter cube. Yes, it means 917 gram means kg centimeter cube. Yes, is less than of water 1000 kg meter cube. Due to this, iceberg is able to displace the water equal to its weight. Yes, this iceberg may floats in water. It's all about. The bottom of boat experience more pressure due to the more depth, as the force acts perpendicularly downwards and upthrust acts vertically upward through the center of the buoyancy than that of its side. Yes, if there is hole at the bottom of boat, more water get inside to the due to more upthrust. Yes, and the boat may sink. Therefore, a hole at the bottom of boat is more dangerous than at the side. Yes, an iron shrink in water but floats in water. Mercury, if but float in mercury, the density of iron is more than water. The iron nail cannot displace the water equals to its weight and it sinks, but the density of mercury is more than that of water. It gives more of thrust, which helps the iron to float on mercury. It's easier to lift a heavy stone inside the water. Yes, it is easier to decrease the of thrust, so it's easier. Atmosphere, the earth is covered by a thick layer of air which is called atmosphere. It is possible to fill ink on fountain pen due to the change in atmospheric pressure inside and outside the barrel of fountain pen. And next question is, so many questions. Describe the structure of air pump. How it air pump work is air pump. In order to inflate the tire of bicycle, we should move the piston up, yes, and down regularly. When the piston of air pump is moved up, yes, it creates a partial vacuum inside cylinder and air is filled in the cylinder. Yes, when the piston is forced down, air enters inside the tube of bicycle tires through the nozzle of by opening the valve of tube. Yes, when the piston is moved up, the valve of tube closes itself and the air inside tube does not come out. When up and down movement of piston is continued several times, the tube of bicycle is inflated. Sketch define the structure mechanisms of water pump. Is when the handle of water pump is pushed down, the piston move upward. It creates a partial vacuum between valve 1 and valve 2. Yes, valve 1 means the at the piston and valve 2 means at bottom. Yes, and there will be gap. Yes, and in this condition, air pressure decreases in the barrel. Air pressure will be decreases when we push down the handle and piston will move upward. There will be create some what called spaces. Air pressure will be decreases, and if air pressure increases, then water moves from there will be more pressure inside underground. Yes, and water moves from to loose pressure means inside that cylinder. Yes, water will move inside that barrel and water rises up. Yes, through vacuum tube, water enters in the barrel of hand pump. Yes, and uh, this is called upstroke. Piston move up means upstroke. Now downstroke means when handle is pull upward. Yes, piston move downwards. Yes, and that increases air pressure. Yes, air pressure or decreases distance. Yes, increases the pressure in food valve. Yes, and that close the valve too, and valve one will be opened. Yes, and water move from that inside to outside. Atmospheric pressure is less, so water comes outside, and this is called downstroke. Piston move down means downstroke. Yes, and from here important formula: pressure is equals to force by area. Yes, force by area. Pressure is equals to SDG, and next is density is equals to mass by volume. Mass by volume. The pressure exerted by atmosphere per unit area of the Earth's surface is called atmospheric pressure. Two instruments based on law of flotation: hydrometer, SIPs, SHIP, SIP. Yes, and uh, next question is F1 by A1 is equals to F2 by A2. Importance of atmospheric pressure: to fill ink on fountain pen, and fill medicine in a syringe, to fill air in bicycle tube. As and according to the law of flotation, a floating body displaced liquid equals to its own weight. It says when some extra load is added to the ship, its weight increases. So ship sink more to displace equal water to its own weight in order to float. And next listen, so I'll read. Listen very careful before answer. You will get now. A1 is equals to A2. Because given weight of a stone is 20 Newton, according to the formula, weight of a stone is equals to weight of a stone in water plus weight of water displaced. Yes, the thrust exerted by water on the stone is 5 Newton. The mass of a stone is equals to 20 by. This was the questions from this. These were the questions from this unit 2. It's already 40 minutes after. 40 minutes takes time. Takes 40 minutes time. Now I'm going to read the chapter energy. Energy. Yes. What do you mean by what is primary source of energy? The natural source of energy which can be used intact. Yes, it's called primary source of energy. Example like solar energy. The types of energy based on time replacements are non-renewable source of energy and renewable source of energy. And next is fossil fuel is known as the non-renewable source of energy. Fossil fuel is not called non-renewable source of energy because it gets depleted and cannot be produced again and again, as it has limited stock in nature. What is a renewable source of energy? The type of energy from which energy can be obtained continuously and can be used again and again is called renewable source of energy. And mineral oil and coal are non-renewable source of energy. Coal is non-renewable source of energy. The sun is considered as ultimate source of energy. Justify. The sun provides energy for all living beings on the earth directly or indirectly. We use solar energy for cooking food, drying clothes, generating hydroelectricity. Coal, mineral oil, etc. are also outcome of solar energy. Plant store energy, solar energy in the form of chemical energy. It means plants also uses solar energy. Animal also uses solar energy as they use plants for photosynthesis. They eat plant, yes, and plants store solar energy in the form of chemical energy. It means that plants use solar energy for photosynthesis. Hydropower is also outcome of solar energy. Water is a river. Water in the river is either formed by melting of ice or raining. Yes, for melting of ice, solar energy is needed. Similarly, water of river and ocean must be evaporated for raining, which is possible only if presence of solar energy. Therefore, sun is considered ultimate source of energy. Now, what is the estimated temperature of surface of the sun? 5500 degrees Celsius. Yes, and what the thermonuclear fusion reaction? Fusion means to join. Yes, the reaction in which two nuclei of light atoms combine to form a heavy, more stable nucleus with the liberation of large amount of energy is called thermonuclear fusion reaction. Example, hydrogen 1 power 2 is H base 1 power 2 plus 1 H power 2 fuse at high pressure, high temperature. Then He 2 base 2 He power 3 plus 0 base 0 neutron power 1 plus heat and light energy. Radioactive element. Radioactive element means uranium, plutonium. Yes, and what amount of solar average energy does Earth receive per square kilometer? 1.4 kilowatt. Yes, per square kilometer. Now, how much energy does the sun radiate in 1 second? The sun radiate 27 into 10 to the power 24 kilowatt energy in 1 second. 10 to the power 24. Just remember this. It takes 27 days to rotation. Yes, and 24 hours in a day. It means that 27 into 10 to the power 24. Yes, like this you need to put logic to remember those answers. Yes, so that you will never forget it. What is the main source of solar energy? The main source of solar energy is thermonuclear fusion reaction that takes continuously place in the surface of sun. Yes, and for what two natural process is solar energy being used? Solar energy is being used for following natural photosynthesis and water cycle. Yes, and in three conditions for nuclear fusion reaction: some sufficient hydrogen gas, yes, presence of high temperature, and there should be high pressure. What is fossil fuel energy? The energy which is obtained from fossil fuel is called fossil fuel energy: petrol, diesel, coal, natural gas, etc. Advantages of mineral oil: cheaper, abundant in nature, yes, and multi-purpose fuel, and it can transport easily. Fuel disadvantage means it causes pollution. It is limited in amount. Yes, energy contained in fossil fuel is the outcome of solar energy. How? So, fossil fuel are obtained from the remnants of plants and animals buried on the earth crust. This plants get energy from the sun during photosynthesis, and plants get energy from the sun during photosynthesis, and animal get solar energy indirectly from plants. And before energy contained in fossil fuel, it is outcome of solar energy. What? Everything is the outcome of money. We can say it. Now, what is mineral oil? The petroleum product which is obtained from the mineral is called mineral oil. And coal and petroleum are known as non-renewable source of energy. Why coal and petroleum are called non-renewable source of energy? Because they get depleted and cannot be produced again and again. Limited in nature. Anthracite is the coal of high quality. Anthracite. ANTHRACITE, anthracite. Yes, hydroelectricity. The electricity generated by the rotating turbines with the help of water is called hydroelectricity. The estimated production of hydroelectricity is 83,290 megawatt, and the electricity is indirect source of solar energy. Yes, for running hydroelectricity is conducted by running water or from the river. Yes, for that solar energy is needed. Yes, as solar energy helps to melt the ice or evaporates the water and causes rainfall. And next question is: give two reasons to justify that use of hydroelectricity should be increased more than fossil fuels. Yes, hydroelectricity is a renewable source of energy, but fossil fuels is non-renewable source of energy. Hydroelectricity is the pollution free, but fossil fuel causes pollution. Hydroelectricity is the most potential source of energy in Nepal. Hydroelectricity is cheaper and long-term basis. The use of solar energy should be increased in contrast of Nepal. Nepal is facing the acute scarcity of energies like petroleum products. Electricity, solar energy is renewable source of energy obtained continuously. Fossil fuel, the fuel which is obtained from fossils, means that is relax of ancient plants and animals preserved under the earth crust is called fossil fuel. Example: petroleum products like coal, petrol, diesel. alternative source of energy. The energy which are used to replace the conventional energy source are called alternative source of energy. The biomass energy, wind energy, nuclear energy, geothermal energy. And two alternative ways to prevent energy crisis are in most of the parts of country wind blow is high, so wind energy should be generated. Agriculture is the main activity in our country, so biofuel energy should be developed by applying modern technology instead of traditional practice. Biogas will be used instead of LPG gas. And what is biofuel? Means the fuel obtained from the biomass, cow dung, firewood is called biofuel energy. Biomass means the waste materials of living organisms. Yes, and biogas means gas mixture of methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and hydrogen sulfide. Yes, and write down the major uses of biogas. It is used as a fuel for cooking food. It's used to run engines. Yes, and it is used for generating electricity, and it is more what called good domestic fuel. Yes, biogas burns without smoke. Yes, it produces more heat while burning. Yes, it is cheaper, can be produced easily, generate hydroelectricity. And the nuclear fission. Fission means to separate. Yes, the process in which an unstable nucleus of an heavy atom splits into two medium weight nuclei with the liberation of large amount of energy is called nuclear fission. Example is uranium equals to barium plus krypton neutron. When uranium are bombarded with slow-moving neutrons, the heavy uranium nucleus splits up to uh, produce two medium weight barium and krypton with the emission of 3 neutrons. During the reaction, some mass of uranium is lost to produce the enormous amount of energy. And what do you mean by nuclear fuel? The fuel required for a nuclear reaction in power plant is called nuclear fuel. Yes, and nuclear fission already read. Yes, now tidal energy means energy obtained with the help of tides of sea. Yes, and next is what is geothermal energy? Geothermal energy, geo means earth and thermal means heat. Energy is the heat energy obtained from the inner parts of the earth or from the hot rocks present inside the earth. Yes, how it is obtained? The extremely hot rocks present below the surface of the earth heat the underground water and turns into steam. In such places, two holes are drilled into the earth crust through which metal pipes are put into them. Cold water is pumped in through one pipe. Yes, and the cold water turns into steam due to the heat of rocks. The steam thus formed formed comes out through another pipe. The steam thus obtained is used to boil water and produce electricity. Volcanic eruption and earthquake are two natural phenomena for geothermal energy. And government of Nepal encourages farmers to use biogas. Yes, cheap and good increase fertility of soil. Energy crisis is the situation in which there is scarcity of energy sources. Yes, and similarly write down the main causes of energy sources: overuse, high demand, lack of development. Yes, and we can solve it by using wisely. Yes, avoid unnecessary use of fossil fuel, develop alternative source of energy, use renewable source of energy. And next is as called sun is also called the atomic power plant. Why? In sun, enormous energy is produced continuously due to nuclear fusion reaction, as in atomic power plant in the nuclear station. As atomic power plant in nuclear station, therefore the sun is called atomic power plant. Anthracite is the coal of high quality radioactive elements uranium, plutonium. Formula is equals to mc square. E is equals to energy, m भनेको mass, c भनेको speed of light. And next question. Oh, this much. Yes, this much for from this chapter. Now I'm going through health from no heat. It's what called 55 minutes. 55 minutes means I need to complete those 55 plus 55. How many? Now heat. Okay. What do we mean by heat? Yes, kinetic. According to kinetic molecular theory, heat energy of an object is defined as the sum of kinetic energy obtained by the molecules of that contained by the molecules of the object. It is the sum of kinetic energy contained by the molecules of that object. Yes, average kinetic energy of molecules means summation of data by number. Yes, and the quantity of heat depends upon the mass of object, average kinetic energy of molecules. And similarly, next, 1 calorie heat is equals to 4.2 joule. Yes, define 1 calorie heat. 1 calorie of heat energy is defined as the quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 gram pure water through 1 gram. 1 calorie of heat energy. 1 calorie of heat energy is defined as the quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 gram of pure water through 1 degree Celsius. Yes, and how much heat energy is required to rise the temperature of 1 gram of pure water by 1 degree Celsius means 4.2 joule energy. 1 calorie is equals to 4.2. Yes, and what do you mean by 1 joule of heat energy? 1 joule of heat energy is the amount of heat energy required to rise temperature of an object by 1 degree Celsius of 1 kg mass, and specific heat capacity 1 kg. Effects of heat state: change state, temperature, solubility, size. The effect of heat in this process, it changes the size of objects expand on heating. Heat should be applied to open the lid, tight lid. And there is gap between tracks of rail. The track of rail get heated and bend due to expansion when rail moves on them. Yes, it lead to an accident. Therefore, there are gaps between the tracks of rail. Define temperature in terms of kinetic theory. Temperature of a body is the average kinetic energy of molecules of the body. And heat means the total sum of kinetic energy contained by the molecules of a body. Temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of a object. Now heat is joule, temperature Kelvin. Heat is measured by calorimeter, temperature is measured by thermometer. When a substance is heated, the molecules of it start vibrate. Due to the vibration of molecule, kinetic energy molecules increases as the result temperature of the substances increases. Yes, so we can say that temperature is directly proportional to the increased vibration. Due to Q is equals to ms/dt. Specific heat capacity of object is defined the amount of heat required to rise the temperature of object of unit mass by 1 degree Celsius. Yes, Q is amount of heat is equals to ms/dt. The heat retention capacity of different object is different. As a result, specific heat capacity of object is different. What is specific capacity of water? 4200 joule per kg degree Celsius. It means that 4200 joule of heat energy is required by 1 kg of water to rise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. To factor that affect heat energy mass of object, average kinetic energy. Another proof might come. Okay, Q is equals to ms/dt. It means Q is equals to m, Q is equals to dt. Combining both equation, Q is equals to ms/dt, m dt. Now S is the constant called specific heat capacity symbol. Now the specific heat capacity of iron is 460 degrees Celsius, means that 460 joule of heat energy is required to rise the temperature of 1 kg iron by 1 degree Celsius. Yes, mercury has highest temperature because it has the lowest specific heat capacity. Iron will make the deepest hole in wax slab because the specific heat capacity is the highest. Now, if both object X and Y are given equal amount of heat, object Y has more temperature because the specific capacity of object Y is less than the X. If two equal size breaker, one having water and another having paraffins oil, are heated equally, which one will become the temperature of will be more? Yes, the temperature of breaker having paraffin will be more than breaker having water because the specific capacity of paraffin is less than of water. As a result, paraffin gets heated and faster than water. Yes, if breaker A is heated and breaker B is cooled, water overflows from the breakers. Water has minimum volume at 4 degrees Celsius. If water is heated above 4 degrees Celsius, its volume increases. Similarly, if water is cooled below 4 degrees Celsius, its volume increases. Why water is used as cooling agent? Water absorbs a large amount of heat from the engine as it has high specific capacity. Yes, due to this, the engine does not get heated up when filled with water. Therefore, water is used in engine of vehicle to prevent engine from excess heating. Next question. A wet handkerchief is kept on the forehead of patient suffering from a fever. When a person is suffering from fever, a wet handkerchief is kept on his forehead to lower his body temperature, as the wet handkerchief contains water. Yes, it can absorb a large amount of heat due to high specific capacity. As a result, the temperature of patient decreases. Therefore, a wet handkerchief kept on forehead of patients suffering from a fever. The density of water is maximum at 4 degrees Celsius. When hot iron nail is kept in cold water, the temperature of iron is reduced, whereas temperature of water is increased by heat transfer from hotter body to colder body. Therefore, the temperature of iron decreases and the water increases. And well water is felt warmer in morning during winter season. The specific capacity of soil is very less compared to of water. So during winter night, the temperature of soil decreases very fast and that of water. Yes, as a result, the heat flow from well water to our body when we touch well water. Therefore, well water is felt warmer in the morning during winter season. Right into application of it is specific capacity cool engine. Yes, and lower the temperature of forehead. The surface of desert is made of sand and specific capacity of sand is low at 100 joule per kg degree Celsius. Due to this, the sand becomes very hot during day and gets cool very soon. Yes, at the night. As the result, it's very hot day and very cold night. The difference in temperature is lower near shear. The sea consists a large amount of water and the specific capacity of water is high. It gets heated very slowly during day and cool very hot during night. Therefore, the difference in temperature low near sea because of land breeze and sea breeze. And next question. The normal body temperature of healthy human is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Yes, and thermometer is instrument which is made on the basis of expansion of heat. The freezing point of mercury is minus 39 degrees Celsius. Boiling point is 357 degrees Celsius, and the freezing point of alcohol is minus 117 degrees Celsius, and boiling point is 78 degrees Celsius. Mercury is good conductor of heat. It has high specific capacity, high low specific capacity 140 joule per kg degree Celsius. The boiling point of alcohol is 78 degrees Celsius, whereas the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Since the boiling point of water is more than the alcohol, the boiling point of the alcohol thermometer is not used to measure the boiling point of water. 273 Kelvin freezing point, 373 Kelvin boiling point. Yes, and what do you mean by equilibrium temperature? Equilibrium temperature is defined as the resultant temperature obtained by mixing hot substances with cold substances. That is final temperature. Q is equals to msdt. M1 M1 S T1 minus T1 minus T2 M2 S T1 minus T2. T2 means final temperature. Yes. Now question is, what is heat equation? Yes, heat equation is defined as the amount of heat gain or loss by an object is equal to the product of mass, specific capacity, change in temperature. MSCT. Thermometric liquid are mercury and alcohol. Boiling and freezing point of alcohol. Alcohol 78 degree boiling point, freezing point minus 117 degree Celsius. And mercury freezing point minus 39 degree Celsius, boiling point 357 degree Celsius. Yes, and next question is, if 10 kg of water at 80 degrees C cools fast than the 15 kg of water at same temperature kept in the Y. The amount of heat contained by 10 kg of water is 80 degrees Celsius. Yes, is less than that contained by the 15 kg of water. So 10 kg of water at 40 degrees cools faster. Substances X cool get faster if it is mass of substances are heated, maintain temperature, and they are exposed in air. Because the space capacity of X is lowest, yes, the substances Z will need more heat energy to maintain equal temperature. During winter, animals sit crawl. When animals sit in crawl, surface area of body decreases. It helps them to lose less heat from the body. Yes, so they can remain warm. Clinical thermometer is used to measure temperature of human bodies. Laboratory thermometer is used to measure the temperature of it is used in laboratory. The clinical thermometer 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Simple thermometer or laboratory thermometer its scale range rises from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Advantages of digital thermometer is easy to take reading in digital thermometer. It is safe as it does not contain any toxic mercury. Yes, and the temperature of melting ice is 0 degree, freezing alcohol is minus 170 degrees Celsius. Jerk is given to clinical thermometer before measuring the temperature to drop down the mercury in capillary tube to get correct measurement of the body temperature. If three liquids are heated to same temperature, which have more specific heat capacity, that will that will have lowest or cool slower. And which will have more space capacity, that will go dipped in wax slab. Now unit 5, yes, unit 5, it's take 15 minutes, let's complete on 10 minutes. What is convex lens? The lens which is thicker in middle and thinner at the edge is called convex lens. Yes, and the convex lens converges the parallel ray of light at the point after refraction. Therefore, the convex lens is called converging lens. And concave means the lens which is thinner in middle and thicker at the edge is called concave lens. Yes, the concave lens diverges the parallel ray of light after refraction, there is divergence. Optical center of lens is defined as the geometrical center of the lens. Geometrical center, the distance between the optical center and principal focus is called focal length. And focusing is the process of adjusting the distance between the lens and screen to produce a sharp and clear image. Yes, and it is done to produce sharp and clear image. And next is state the rules for drawing a ray diagram. Obtain image from by convex and concave lenses. An incident ray parallel to principal axis of convex lens passes through the principal focus in after refraction. In case of concave lens, the ray appear to diverge away from the principal focus. Yes, diverge away from principal focus. And incident ray pass through the principal focus of convex lens becomes parallel to principal axis after refraction. In case of concave lens, incident ray appearing to meet focus is refracted parallel to principal axis. You get it? And an incident ray passing through the principal focus of convex lens become parallel to the principal axis after refraction. In case of concave lens, incident ray appearing to meet focus, it refracted parallel to the principal axis. Yes, and an incident ray passing through the optical center of convex and concave lens goes through the straight without deviation. And next is real image, means it can be obtained on the screen. Virtual image can be obtained cannot be obtained on the screen. Virtual image is erected, yes, and real image is inverted, yes. And next question is write down the characteristics and utility of image formation. 2F. One idea I will share with you. Yes, when an object is yeah, okay, I will share one important idea, okay, for this how to write the characteristics. Is if image is formed at more distance than the object distances, then image will be magnified. Yes, and when image is formed less distance than the object distances, then it is diminished. Okay, wait, okay, look, that in convex lens inverted what called real and inverted. Yes, and whether it is diminished or magnified, I have just still. And in concave lens, it is what called virtual and erect. Yes, and except in that when image is at when object is between F and O, yes, focus and optical center F and O, then it will form that what called virtual image. Yes, in convex lens. Yes, and I have just now let's take example. When object is at place beyond 2F, okay, when it is beyond 2F, image will be formed between what called F and 2F. It means that beyond 2F means far, yes, and between 2F means less. Yes, the image distance is less. Here the what type of image is formed? Small image is formed. Yes. What is power of lens? The power of lens is defined as the ability of lens to convert or diverge the ray of light falling on it. Yes, its formula is 1 by F. Yes, and define the one diopter power of lens. Name the factor on which the power of lens depends. One diopter power is 1D is defined as the power of lens whose focal length is 1 meter. The power of lens depends upon its focal length, and a number of lenses are combined together to increase the sharpness of image. The optical instruments in which lenses are combined are compounded microscope and telescope. Why is combination lens done? Combination of lens is done to increase the sharpness of image. Yes, and what do you mean by lens formula? Yes, a formula which gives the relationship between the object distance and image distance. That is 1 by F is equals to 1 by U plus 1 by V. U means object and V means final. Final means image distance. Magnification is equals to height of image by height of object, or magnification is equals to image by object. Now next is where should be kept to form image at beyond C. Sometimes question might ask like this. Yes, you need to just what call read those before images or what called ray diagrams. Yes, magnification is more than 1. It means that the size of image is larger than the object. Less than 1 means that the size of image formed is shorter than the object. Yes, and difference between converging lens, it is thicker in middle and thinner at edge, and concave means thinner at the middle, thicker at edge. It diverges, and convex converge. And next question. As I have told that only now, formula 1 by f, yes, p is equals to 1 by f, magnification is equals to b by u, h height 2 by height 1, yes, and optical instrument means the instruments which are used to produce image of an object by using a lens. Now from here, ciliary muscle adjust the thickness of iris, convex lens refract the ray of light passing through it, yes, and retina forms the image, pupil allows light to pass through it, cornea allows light to pass through it, and aqueous humor helps eye to retain its shape, and what called which next iris determine the size of pupil according to the intensity of light, and define far point of an eye. The far point of eye is the farthest point from the eye which can be seen clearly, yes, and near point of eye is the near point of an eye is the nearest point of from the eye up to which the eye can see the objects clearly. It's about 25 centimeter. And defect of vision is disorder in which a person cannot see objects clearly, yes, and myopia, what called myopia or myopia or short sightedness. Okay, listen this. Short means what? Nazik, yes. Short sightedness, sight means dekhnu, yes. Short sightedness means can see near one but cannot see far one. Wait, okay. Myopia or short sightedness is the defect of vision in which person can see the nearby object clearly but cannot see the far or distant object, yes, myopia. Simple. Now for its causes, yes, causes means for that what needs to be happen to see the nearest object. Once you take closer to that book, what happened, it means that you need to what called make our eye bigger, yes. It means that the elongation of eyeball, and another is high converging power of eye lens. You get it? High converging power, it means converge what need to be happen, there should be thick what called eye lens, thick eye lens, yes. It means that thick eye lens or high converging power and the elongation of eyeball. You get it? And what might be its what called remedy is just we can correct it by using what called concave, which diverges the rays and forms image as retina. If in the figure, if image is inside that eye, yes, inside that eye but not at retina, then it is called short sightedness. And long sightedness means it's if the image what called two lines are met beyond that what called beyond circle, yes, after retina, that is long sightedness. Now long sightedness is very simple. Hypermetropia, it means that the defect of vision in which eye cannot see the nearby object but can see. Long sightedness means what? Long sightedness can be seen the far distant object clearly. Yes, for looking the distant object, what you need to do, just remember, use your logic. This while looking that telescope means with so far object you keep our eye small, it means that shortening of eyeball one happen, and it means that low converging power, yes, low converging power, and that means elongation of eyeball, elongation of eyeball, elongation, it means elongation means being thin island, yes, thin island, then there will be less converging power, then image will form far than retina, yes. And for this remedy is using convex lens. Very simple, yes, simple to understand. If you use your logic, if you use like this logic in every question, then every question is easy and can be remembered easily, yes, and can be done in exam and score highest marks, very very good marks. And this was to say from this lesson. It's take about what call how many minutes, 19-20 minutes, no, it's take about, yes, 10 minutes. I have like that, not 10 minutes, 15 minutes, how much minute take it, actually I don't have calculate. Now I'm going to read next lesson, that is current, electricity and magnetism. It's already 10, going to 10 o'clock. Now current and electricity. Current and electricity. I hope I need to read from up to unit 8, yes, in this video. Now current and electricity, okay. What is electric circuit? An electric circuit is the path made by connecting electric sources, load, switch with a good conducting wire, which can 25 minutes, bafre, which can offer a continuous flow of electric current, yes. And next is, how are the load connected in domestic wire? Load are connected in parallel in domestic wiring, and wiring, yes. Any two advantage of parallel connection are, in parallel connection of loads, any loads can be used separately according to our will, yes. In such connection, if one load is damaged or fuse has gone off, remaining loads can be operated, yes. And next question is, draw a symbol of what called symbolic circuit diagram having switch, cell. This you can do it by yourself. Any three advantages of parallel connection means separate switch can be used for each load, yes. And if one of the load gets damaged, remaining load works continuously. The change in the number of bulbs does not affect the brightness, yes. And AC circuit, which is connected in house, factories, office, is called domestic circuit. And now any 5 points that we should remember during as a switch and fuse should be connected with the live wire, yes. And a fuse of appropriate rating should be used in every flat or room of house. The lines for power what called sockets and lamps should be separated. Lines for power sockets and lamps should be separated. Wiring should be done in dry area, place where electric appliances should be protected from water leakage, yes. And why it is not advised to operate electric switches with wet end? The users may get electric shock due to flow of electric current through wet ends, yes. Therefore it is not advised to operate electric switches with wet end. And iron is used to make switch box because earthing is done to this box, yes. And why is 220 volt written in most of electric in most of electric appliances? 220 volt is written, yes, because these appliances can run in the line of 220 volt AC. And next question, AC means the current that changes its polarity and magnitude at certain interval of time, and DC means the current that does not change polarity and magnitude at interval of time. AC is generated from battery or cell alternate current, yes. And direct current is cell. AC cannot be generated through what called battery or generator. Direct current can be generated from cell or battery, yes. And write the features of alternating current, yes. Polarity of altering current changes at a certain interval of time, yes. And short circuiting means short circuiting is the condition in which neutral wire and live wire touches each other directly. And fuse is a short piece of wire made of tin and lead having low melting point. The capacity of fuse is measured in ampere. Right reason for not using copper wire as a fuse wire. Copper wire has high melting point, so it does not get melt during overload, yes, or short circuiting. So copper wire is not used as fuse. high melting point, so it does not what call get melt during overloading or short circuiting. Why is fuse connected in a domestic electric circuit? A fuse is connected in a domestic electric circuit to prevent electric appliances from getting damaged due to overflow of electric current. Yes, live wire means high melting point, fuse wire low melting point. Live wire is made of copper or aluminum, fuse wire is made of alloy, tin and lead. Yes, and this much okay. Now overloading is a condition at which a large amount of electric current flows through an electric circuit. Yes, and MCB, the full form of MCB is miniature circuit breaker. Yes, MCB is used to cut the supply of electric current in case of overloading or short circuiting. A fuse is always connected to live line. A fuse is always connected to live line to cut electric supply in electric appliances when the fuse melts. To cut the electric supply in electric appliances when fuse melts. Yes, and copper is not used as fuse wire because it has high melting point. And now earthing is the process of connecting the metallic body of an electric appliances. Process of connecting metallic body of an electric appliances to earth by conducting wire to protect the user from getting electric shock. What? It's the process of connecting metallic body of electric appliances to the earth by conducting wire to protect user from the getting electric shock. Yes. Now, and that is what is magnetic effect of current electricity. When electricity flow through a conducting wire, magnetic field is produced around the wire. Yes, this effect of current electricity is called magnetic effect of current electricity. A temporary magnet made by passing electrical current through a solenoid with a core of soft magnetic substances, iron, is called passing through iron is called electromagnet. Yes, solenoid means the coil of insulated wire. Electromagnet diagram. Yes, and electric bell is based on the magnetic effect of electric current. Magnetic effect of electric current is the when electricity flow through a conducting wire, magnetic field is produced around the wire. And uses of electromagnets is used in bell, loudspeaker, motor, electric fans, yes, and big machines, steel grinders, and separate magnetic substances. Electric bell gong, hammer, amateur, electric sources, spring, knot. Next is filament lamp. Filament lamp is filled with inert gas like argon, nitrogen, etc. Fluorescent lamp is filled with the mercury vapor. Fluorescent means mercury vapor. Yes, and it converts 10% of electrical energy into light energy and 90% into heat energy. Fluorescent means convert 30% into electric and 70% into heat energy. Filament is lifespan 1000 hours. Fluorescent 3,000 hours. Yes, and filament is a small coil of wire having high melting point and very high resistivity, which is used in lighting devices. Filament is a small coil of wire having a very high melting point and very high resistivity, which is used in lighting device. Get it? Any two materials which are used for making filament are tungsten wire and manganese, that is manganese 83% and copper nickel. Manganese and tungsten wire. Yes, filament is a small coil of wire having very high melting point and very high resistivity used in lighting device. And tungsten wire is used as filament. The filaments burn completely when oxygen gas is used in filament bulbs. Yes, it has high resistivity. It has a very high melting point. Yes, and Tungsten metal not used in heater. Tungsten react with oxygen and gets damaged which exposed to air, yes, and therefore tungsten metal is not used in heater. The fluorescent lamp with the power 60 watt gives more brightness than the filament lamp with the same power. Why? Filament lamp convert only 10% of electrical energy into light energy. Fluorescent converts 30% of electrical energy to light energy. Therefore, fluorescent lamp of 60 watt gives more energy than the filament of what called 60 watt. Yes, more. And next is mercury vapor is filled with fluorescent lamp. Yes, mercury vapor is filled with fluorescent lamp is used in fluorescent lamp in order to produce ultraviolet rays. In this process, when electrons from cathode strike the mercury atoms, ultraviolet rays are produced, and inner lamp of fluorescent lamp is coated with the fluorescent powder. Inner wall of the fluorescent lamp is coated with the fluorescent powder in order to produce visible light when ultraviolet strike the mercury vapor. Inert gases are used in filament lamp. Inert gases like argon, neon, nitrogen, etc. fill in electric bulb to prevent the filament made of tungsten from vaporization when heated to high temperature. Yes, nichrome wire is used as heating element. High resistivity, melting point high. Yes, and question. Write down one function of mercury vapor and fluorescent powder. Function of mercury vapor in a fluorescent lamp is to produce ultraviolet rays, and fluorescent powder is to produce visible light. Electromagnetic induction, the phenomenon by which electric current is introduced in a closed coil due to the relative motion between the the production of electric current by moving a conductor in a magnetic field. Straight wire in a magnetic field. Yes, the production of electric current by moving a straight wire in a magnetic field through a conductor. Yes, process of producing electric current by moving a straight wire through a conductor using magnetic field is called electromagnetic induction. And induced EMF, the electromotive force produced by electromagnetic induction is called induced EMF. Yes, induced current, the current produced in a conductor by electromagnetic induction is called induced current. Magnetic flux is the number of magnetic lines of force falling on the surface of the conductor. What is dynamo? The device which is used for getting electricity in a small scale is called dynamo. It works on the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Yes, and what is generator? The device which is used for generating electricity in a large scale on the basis of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction is called generator. Yes, any four methods of increasing the amount of current generated by dynamo or generator are by increasing the number of turns of wire in the coil. Yes, and by increasing the strength of magnetic field, or by decreasing the distance between the coil and magnet, by increasing the speed of rotation. EMF double when the speed of rotor is double in a generator. Yes, EMF also double. Then state the principle on which dynamo works. The dynamo works on the principle that when a straight conductor is moved in a magnetic field, the current is induced in the conductor, or the production of electric current by moving there is production of electric current by moving a what called straight wire or conductor in a magnetic field. Motor effect, when a current carrying conductor is placed perpendicular to magnetic field, the conductor moves. The effect is called motor effect. Yes, when a current carrying conductor is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field, the conductor moves. And the magnet exert a mechanical force on current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. So the conductor experience of force based on motor effect are electric fence, mixture grinder. Electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. Yes, and principle of electric motor. An electric motor work on the principle when a rectangle coil is placed in a magnetic field and current is passed through it. Yes, through it a torque act on a coil rotates it continuously. Electric motor converts electrical into mechanical energy, generator mechanical into electrical. Yes, and motor work on principle of motor effect, generator work on electromagnetic induction. Yes, and next is differences between the generator, electricity generating by generator and cell. Generator produce AC, cell produce DC. Yes, and what do you mean by consumption? Electric power consumption, the rate at which electrical work is done or the rate at which the electrical work is consumed. Electrical energy is consumed is called electric power consumption. It is units is kilowatt. Yes, and 1 watt power. 1 watt power is defined as the rate of doing work of 1 joule per second. Next question is 1 kilowatt power. Yes, and 1 kilowatt hour or 1 unit of electricity is defined as the amount of electrical energy consumed by electrical appliances having power rating of 1 kilowatt in 1 hour. Power consumption is equal to number into time, number of appliances into time. I hope that the frequency of alternating current distributed Kathmandu value is 50 Hz, which means that the coil of AC generator is rotated at the rate of 50 revolution per second. Yes, and generally what type of wire is used in electric heater? The coil of nichrome wire is used in electric heater because nichrome wire has high resistivity and melting point. And heating element is the wire having the high melting point and resistivity, which is used in electrical heating appliances to convert electrical energy into heat energy. Heating element is the wire having very high melting point and resistivity, which is used in electrical heating appliances to convert electrical energy into heat energy. Yes, and nichrome wire is the most suitable for making heating elements, the filaments of an electric bulb. Tungsten wire is the most suitable for making filament. Yes, and next question is fuse wire is made of tin and lead. Yes, what do you mean by lighting effect of current? When electric current is passed through a thin filament having very high resistance, yes, the filament becomes very hot and emits energy. Such effect of electric current is called lightning effect of current. What is transformer? A transformer is an electric device which is used to convert low AC into high or vice versa. Yes, and there are two types of transformer: set of transformer and set down transformer. Principle of transformer is based on the mutual induction. Whenever the current through a coil changes, an EMF is induced in the neighboring coil. Yes, whenever the current, yes, through a coil changes, an EMF is induced in the magnetic induced in the neighboring coil. Yes, and set up transformer. Set up transformer changes a low voltage AC to high voltage AC. Set down transfer high to low. Yes, and there the number of turns in secondary coil is more than in the primary coil. Yes, to change what call there should be more. Yes, in secondary means the up to change up there need to be more coil. Yes, and to set down, yes, there need to be less coil, and turns in coil is less than in the primary coil. Secondary there is less coil in set down transformer. Yes, and secondary voltage V2 by primary voltage is equals to number of turns by in secondary by number of turns in primary coil. Yes, and next the core of transformer is what is transformer is the instrument that is used to increase or decrease the amount of alternating current. Yes, and the core of transformer is laminated. In the iron core of transformer, the rapidly changing magnetic flux produces eddy current. Yes, and the core is heated up due to the flow of heavy eddy current. The heat so produce damages internal insulation besides causing a loss of energy. Therefore, core of iron is laminated to reduce the heating effect and losing of energy. Yes, and a transformer is used to convert a low voltage AC into high voltage AC by increasing the turns in secondary coil. Similarly, a high voltage AC is changed into a low voltage AC by decreasing the number of turns into the secondary coil. Since the magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to the ratio of number of turns in the secondary coil to the number of coil turns in the primary coil, the number of turns in primary coil and secondary are never made equal. Why? Why? Why it is not made equal? First again listen. Okay, a transformer is used to convert AC. Similarly, a high voltage AC is changed into low voltage AC by decreasing the number of turns in secondary coils. Yes, since the magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to the ratio of number of turns in the secondary coil to the number in primary coil. Yes, the number of turns in primary and secondary coil is never made equal. Get it? Since the magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to the ratio of number of turns in secondary coil to the number of turns in primary coils. So just the answer is that only. A soft iron core is used in transformer because the soft iron core allows the magnetism of core to be changed easily, lessening the amount of energy lost and increasing the efficiency of transformer. The use of alternators to change the AC DC AC high low AC to down, yes, like that, and impossible to operate electric appliances which requires the low voltage AC. Yes, and next question is step down transformer is used to convert high voltage AC to low voltage AC before distribution to the consumers. Yes, and inverter is the electronic equipment which convert alternating current into direct current and direct current into alternating current. Yes, and just it is charger, the device which is used to recharge a battery or a device with a rechargeable battery, it's called a charger. Yes, and what electricity consumed is equals to what called power, what called P into N into T, power into number into time. Yes, and now we are define 1 unit of electricity. 1 unit of electricity is defined as the amount of electrical energy consumed by electric appliances having a power rating of 1 kilowatt. Yes, heating limit is the wire having a very high melting point and a resistivity which is used in electric heating appliances to convert electrical energy into heat energy. And transformer is an electric device which is used to convert low electric energy into alternating and vice versa. Yes, and one example also that produce the amount of electricity in dynamo, that less amount of energy is dynamo, and that produce a large amount of energy is generator. Yes, and why does the bulb of bicycle run with the dynamo glow brightly when the speed of bicycle increases and become dim when the speed is decreases? When the speed of bicycle increases, the rate of change in magnetic flux increases. As a result, the amount of induced current increases, yes, which makes the bulb brighter. On the other hand, when the speed of bicycle is decreases, the rate of change in magnetic flux decreases. As a result, the amount of induced current decreases, which decreases the brightness of the bulb. Yes, and next question important, and you need to look at the question of what called a diagrammatic question. Yes, look the diagram of set of transformer and bicycle dynamo. Yes, and magnetic induction EMF, and that what called generator dynamo, etc. From this physics parts this much. Yes, and it takes how much 1 hour 42 minutes to complete this physics parts before I but it is the course of 2 hour 30 minutes. Yes, 2 hour 30 minutes, but I complete it on 1 hour 45 minutes, let's say 45 minutes. It's adding what call not reading those all question, just reading important question which have been coming before I see. Now I'm going to read about the chemistry, yes, and classification of elements. Yes, here. What do we mean by periodic table? A table in which elements are classified into various blocks, periods, groups on the basis of their similarity. The similarities is called periodic table. Yes, and next question is state Mendeleev periodic table. Mendeleev periodic Mendeleev's periodic law states that the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic weight. Yes, and next question is modern periodic table law states that the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic mass. And next question is in which periodic table elements are arranged on the basis of atomic number means modern periodic table. Yes, and write down the characteristics of modern periodic table. The elements are arranged in periodic table on the basis of electron configuration. Yes, the elements having the same number of electron balances are kept in the same group. Yes, and the elements having the same number of cells in their atoms are kept in the same period. Yes, and the elements are kept in first 4 different blocks, that is S, P, D, F blocks. Yes, and the elements having same metallic properties are kept in left side, and elements having the metal means left side. Yes, hot means metal, and non-metal are in right side. Yes, and now lanthanides and actinides are kept separately at the bottom of periodic table just below the transition element. Yes, hydrogen gas has 1 electron in its shell. Hydrogen can lose group 1a. Right into region that hydrogen is kept in group 1. Hydrogen has 1 electron in its shell. Yes, hydrogen can lose 1 electrons like other elements of group 1a. Yes, and next question here S block elements means the elements in which the last electron enters as subcells are called as subcells, and P means the elements which last electrons enters in the P subcells is called P subcells. In predictable S subcells are placed in the left side, P subcells are placed in the right side. Yes, and D means the elements having D in the last subcells, and D are is a transition metals. Now next is alkali metal are highly reactive metals having one valence electrons which form strong alkalis on reacting with water. Yes, they are located in left side of modern periodic table law, and all elements of group 1a like lithium, what called sodium, potassium, rubidium, except hydrogen are alkali group 1a. Alkali are more reactive because they have only 1 electron in the outermost orbit, therefore reactive to obtain octet state. Sodium is called metal. Why sodium is called lose 1 electron from its outermost shell? It is a good conductor of electricity, so sodium is a metal. What are elements of group 1a called alkali metal? The metals of group 1a are called alkali metals because they react with water to form alkalis. What are halogens? Halogens are member of group 7a having same elements in valence shell, same electron in valence shell. Yes, they are what called fluorine, chlorine, bromide, iodide. Yes, they react with hydrogen to form acid form with simple salt can be made. Yes, halogen means salt producer. Valence is 1. Yes, halogens are the members of group 7a having 7 electrons in their valence shell. Yes, and they react with hydrogen to form what atomic size of inert gases does not affect inertness. Why? Inert gases neither gain nor lose electrons. Yes, they do not take part in chemical reaction as their outermost shell has duplet or octet state. Therefore, atomic size of inert gases does not affect inertness. Yes, and lanthanide and actinides means elements with atomic number 51 to 58 to 71 after lanthanum and are called lanthanides, and elements with atomic number from 90 to 103 after actinium are called actinides. Yes, and lanthanides are rare metals, actinides are artificial radioactive metals. Yes, and metal. And next is what called calcium belongs to group 2a and chlorine belongs to group 7a. Yes, in modern periodic table law, and there is the maximum number of electrons that can be accumulated in subshell. S subshell is 6, and that is F subshell is 14. Yes, and how many electrons are in the subshell D means 10. SPDF means 6, 10, 14. SPDF. SPDF. How many? 2, 4, 6, 10, 14. 2, 4, 6, 10. 2, 6, 10, 14. Now, next is write the name of group in which very active metals and very active non-metals are placed in the modern periodic table. Very active metals are placed in group 1A, very active non-metals are grouped in group 7A of modern periodic table. And next is and now for electron configuration, yes, and your sodium 11 means we can put in first cell there will be 2, yes, second 8, and third what called 2 8 10 and 1. Here how we will put 2 8 1. Remember this 2 8 1. First 2 means 1 s 2 fulfill. Now second 8 means 2 s 2. Again how many we need? 6 means in p 6 up to 6 we can put. Then 2s2 and p6, 2p6. Now 3 in here, 3 there is 1, 8 is 281 was there, yes, and 281 281 complete. Now in 3s, now we can put here 2 but only 1 is remaining, so 3s1. Now sodium completed, yes, sodium 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s1. You get it. I hope you are very intelligent. You remember you are listening this audio means you mean it you need to be intelligent, yes, so you get it, I hope. Now like next question, carbon dioxide molecular formula CO2. And next is what is called the elements which lies in the second period and sixth group of modern periodic table is oxygen. Yes, it's soft cell electron configuration. Oxygen is how many? 8 means 2 then 6, 2 then 6, yes. First there is 2 means 1s2 fulfill. Now 6 means 1 2s2. Now how many remain? 4 remain, yes. 4 means 2p4. In p we can put up to 6, yes, and if 6 completed then another. That's simple. Now next question is yeah, remember this, okay. In the case of metal, yes, if the which have more what called atomic size, yes, big atomic size means they are what called active. And if in case of metal, if they have small atomic size, then they are active. Why? Because to for non-metal they gain electrons. To gain electrons, what they need to have? They need to have more forces to attract neutral electron, yes. So if they have less atomic size, then they can attract more fast, yes, they have more force of attraction. But in case of metal, if they have more they need to lose electrons, and if they have more electrons, then they will be far from the what called force nucleus, yes, and they lose the force of attraction. They have less force of attraction, so they are less reactive in increasing the what called size of atomic structure, yes. If, just listen here, okay. Right, what is the difference between the reactivity of metal second period while conversion? The reactivity of metal decreases while moving from left to right in the modern periodic table. Left to right, left to right, left to right means left means from metal to non-metal, decreases. Yes, potassium is more reactive than the sodium, although they are both belongs to group 1. Listen, potassium is more reactive than sodium because the atomic structure of potassium atom is larger than the sodium atom. Yes, so the valence electrons of potassium can be more easily be taken by reacting atoms as compared to sodium, hence it is more reactive. Now, why fluorine is more reactive than chlorine? Since the atomic size of fluorine is smaller than the chlorine in case of non-metal. Yes, nuclear attraction is more on the valence shell of fluorine atom. Yes, as a result, fluorine can get one electron more easily during chemical reaction. Therefore, fluorine is more reactive than the chlorine, although both of them belongs to same group. Just this, use this logic in everything. Then every question will be okay, yes. And now next is right and two factors that determine the reactivity of elements: atomic size, number of electron presence in balances, yes. And next question is right electron configuration of calcium. Calcium means what? How many calcium is more reactive than magnesium because the atomic size of calcium is larger than the magnesium, so calcium can lose two electrons more easily than magnesium. Just like this. The outermost shell of calcium atom consists of two electrons. Therefore, calcium is placed into group 2a of modern periodic table. And next question. P block elements means elements which is interest in the p subshell, yes, and into metalloids means silicon, gallium, yes, and now lanthanides are placed in F block at bottom of the modern periodic table. In case of non-metal, top to bottom means from last to bottom increases. In case of metal, from what call bottom to top is more reactive, yes, in case of metal. Now it is very important to learn that balance chemical equation between the element like K plus Cl means KCl. Now you need to balance here, make equal to KCl, yes, and potassium. And next is what called, now next chapter, wow, already completed. Now it just take what called 10 minutes less, 12 minutes to into, oh, before how many minutes, before 40 minutes, बापरे. Now next, chemical reaction. This is the last lesson which I need to cover, yes, for uploading video. Yes, chemical reaction from here. What do you mean the word equation? The chemical reaction expressed by writing full names of reactants and products is called word equation, yes. And next is what do you mean by formula equation? The chemical reaction expressed by writing the symbol and molecular formula of reactants and products is called chemical reaction, yes. And balanced chemical equation means the chemical equation written by balancing the number of atoms of elements on both sides of arrow in reactants and products is called balanced chemical reaction, yes. And balanced chemical reaction, that's it. List out the information that can be obtained from balanced chemical equation. It means the type of chemical reaction can be known, yes, and the names of reactants and products and molecular formula or symbol of reactants and products, number of atoms and molecules of reactants and products, the ratio weight of atoms or molecules of reactants and products. And limitations of chemical reactions means it cannot what call give the information about the physical state of reactants and products, rate of chemical reaction. It cannot give information of concentration of reactants, duration of chemical reaction, the condition necessary for chemical reaction, yes. And what are the main factors that brings about chemical change? The factor that brings chemical change are heat, light, electricity, direct contact, yes. Catalyst means the chemical substances which increase or decrease the rate of chemical reaction. Positive means increase, negative means decrease, yes. Negative, glycerine, and positive means that what called manganese dioxide. Suppose S2O2 manganese dioxide, in presence of manganese dioxide is equals to S2O plus O2. Now S2O2 plus when in the presence of glycerine is equals to S2O plus O2, yes. And balanced chemical reaction which is carried out by catalyst, positive catalyst, by the catalyst MnO2, yes, S2O2, yes, already tell. What do you mean by exothermic reaction? Exo means release, exo means exist, yes. Exist means to get out, yes. Release, the chemical reaction in which heat is released during the reaction is called exothermic reaction, yes. S2O2 means S2O plus it, C plus O2 is equals to CO2, it release, yes. And Indo means to absorb heat, yes. C plus S2 means C2S2, C plus S means CS2, carbon disulfide. And what do you mean by combination or synthesis? Chemical reaction in which two or more reactants combine to form a new compound is called combination reaction. Example, S2 plus O2, S2. Now decomposition means to split into two or more what called elements, just like KClO3 means KCl plus O2. Now displacement means to move from chemical reaction in which an element or radical of compound is displaced by another, yes. Single displacement and double displacement. In single displacement reaction, only one element is displaced by another element, yes. Suppose only one displace means displace displace means here zinc plus S2SO4. Look at here. First zinc plus SO4. Zinc plus SO4 plus S2. How to know which will be written at first means that we'll write metal at first, then only what call non-metal. Okay, every cases. Now double displacement. Look at here. Listen me. The chemical reaction in which an element or radical of one compound is mutually displaced, means equally displaced by an element or radical of another compound, is called double displacement reaction. Just like example, AgNO3 plus Ca2 CaCl AgNO3 plus CaCl2. Now what will be the reaction means here, what call first Ag. Now Ag means metal, now non-metal, already have ANO3. NO3 is non-metal. Now CaCl3 means calcium metal and Cl3 non-metal, and before here Ag means metal and NO3 non-metal. Now metal non-metal, metal non-metal, connect like this, first metal then non-metal. Here Ag, now Cl, yes, and CaNO3, yes, like this. Now and you need to exchange the what called valency or yes. And now next question is single display. Which type of reaction is this? Might comes. Yes, I have already told that acid bed reaction is the reaction in which acid react with base to form salt and water, is called acid bed reaction. Just like HCl plus KOH is equals to KCl plus H2OH, and Fe plus CuSO4 is equals to FeSO4 plus Cu. This is single displacement. Yes, and balanced chemical neutralization reaction means in acid base reaction both acid and base lose their properties during the chemical reaction. As the result, neutral salt is formed, which is called neutralization reaction. Iron plus oxygen means Fe plus O2 is equals to Fe3O4. Yes, Fe3 means what called Fe3O4. What is written here? Potassium chlorate means KClO3 plus potassium chloride is equals to KCl plus O2. Potassium and chlorine valency are same, so we have not written down in base, we have not exchanged their valency. Yes. Now similarly sodium react with water means S2O. Na plus S2O means NaOH plus S2. Now lead oxide means PbO is heated, means PbO plus O2. Lead oxide plus oxygen will be found. Yes, and zinc react with copper sulfide. Zinc react with copper sulfide means sulfate means SO4, Fit means SO3. Now zinc sulfate plus Cu. Now chlorine react with potassium iodide. Cl2 plus Ki means KCl plus I2. Yes, and ammonium hydroxide, what called sulfuric acid means H2SO4, king of acid, react with NH4. Ammonium means NH4OH hydroxide. It here first of all we will write what called metal NH4 and non-metal SO4 plus H2O water. Now when copper oxide is treated with hydrochloric acid, copper oxide CuO plus hydrochloric acid HCl means CuCl plus H2O. Acid base reaction, combination reaction. Important to know single displacement reaction is and what called addition, like that. Cl plus Ki means KCl plus I2. Formula equation CaCO3 is equals to CO plus CO2. Now next is what neutralization, the chemical reaction in which acid react with base to form salt. Weight. The atomic weight of element expressed in gram is known as gram atomic weight. Yes, atomic weight of oxygen is 16. 1479 11 12 14 16 14 16. Wait, how to I hope I have written somewhere. 1479 11 12 14 16 14 16 20 23 24 27 28 32 35 35 40 39 40. I hope This was the atomic weight of the first 20 element. 1 mole means amount of substances. 1 mole of substance is defined as the basic unit of quantity of substances. How to calculate the atomic weight of given compound means what called plus neutron plus proton. Neutron plus proton. Hope that neutron plus proton. Now, how does the concentrate of sodium thiosulfate affect the rate of reaction in between the hydrochloric acid and sodium thiosulfate? When concentration of sodium thiosulfate increases, the rate of a chemical reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium thiosulfate increases the collision of more reacting molecules. Similarly, the rate of chemical reaction decreases on decreasing the concentration due to less number of reacting molecules. Thus, the energy of reacting molecules increases on increasing the heat reactants. And in case of catalysts are used to accelerate the rate of reaction, but negative catalysts also decrease the rate of chemical reaction. The rate of chemical the rate of chemical reaction increases when the surface area of reactants increases. Yes, and reversible reaction is a chemical reaction in which the product can recombine back to give reactant, just like H2 plus I2 is equals to HI. Yes, and irreversible means which cannot be reversed into in which compound chemical reaction in which the product cannot be recombined to the back reactants, just like Na2 plus S2 NaOH plus S2. Yes, and sodium chloride plus silver nitrate. Sodium chloride plus silver nitrate, AgCl salt plus NaNO3 salt. Single displacement. Give example. Means Zn plus S2SO4 already told. There now by increasing the concentration of reactants by using positive catalysts, temperature, pressure, and glycerin is the negative catalyst, and amino2 is the positive catalyst. Characteristics of catalyst means it increases the either increases or decreases the rate of chemical reaction. The mass and amount of catalyst remain unchanged throughout the chemical reaction. Yes, and next question is, how does the heat enhance the rate of chemical reaction? Increase in temperature increases the rate of chemical reaction, whereas decrease in temperature decreases the rate of chemical reaction. The energy of reacting molecules increases on increasing the temperature of reactants. Due to increased energy, the frequency of collision increases. Just finally, the rate of reaction increases. Magnesium ribbon made alkali. The magnesium ribbon is burnt in air, which produce white ash of magnesium oxide. Yes, and by dissolving magnesium oxide into water, it can convert it into alkali magnesium oxide. Yes, the chemical reaction is Mg plus O2 MgO, and MgO plus S2O MgO2 OH2. It reduces the hyperacidity. Oh, finally completed up to what called unit 8, which I need to cover. Yes, almost takes 7 hours to complete this lesson. Thank you so much for watching this video till listening this audio till the end. Yes, and use logic. Yes, and one thing is that if you get some idea, yes, and if idea does not work, then it will become what called garbage. You, even your step for getting successful, if it does not work, if you do not be successful, that step become what called garbage. But a small step also became hook if you became successful. Just like if a small idea, if idea does not work, then what called it became garbage. Yes, just give logic. If you use logic and remember answer, then you will remember it forever. I just want to say this much. Yes, just like we have how many solar energies that sun radiate. Yes, we have with this. How many? Remember it. If you we have use logic to remember this answer. It means that moons take 27 days to revolution. It means that 27 into 10 to the power how many day? Radius means how many hour in a day? 24 hour means 10 to the power 24. Just like, yes, just like this. Use logic, remember it. Yes, and revision is must. Practice to be what called perfect. Practice is necessary to be perfect. And this was to say from me. Yes, hope to be best this SE exam. Yes, be top, be topper. That's it. Nepal top. Either be top or don't care about this. Nothing, nothing. If you want to get a good job, then wait. If you do not want to get, if you want to do something, then focus on. I better focus on my goal on better rather than focusing on my study. Yes, what is my passion? I focus on that rather focusing on what one thing which I don't like. Focus on passion. Passion is, and then you will be successful. Make your passion. Work on that. Give more struggle practice on your passion. And this was from me. Yes, thank you.